home from work, and that's okay. I don't have the mental capacity right now to really deal with work level things. I checked in and made sure folks weren't left completely out to dry, but it is very much a thing of I need to save myself first before I can save anybody else. Okay, also, why these haven't been growing out the way I thought they were going to. Like, by now, I thought the ends, and like my hair's curly, so like let's flatten this best. I thought these ends would be like another inch or two down here. And maybe that's on me being absolutely delulu, but you know, she's what she is. Also, you know, again, we are home today. I'm gonna take it easy. Gonna do some tidying. Have you noticed a theme? When I'm stressed, I tidy. But I want to get boxes prepped to go back into storage, because when I took down Autumn and when we've been getting ready for the holidays and decorating, things have just been kind of going everywhere and then just like randomly shoved back into boxes so that there's not stuff all over the floor. But that doesn't jive with me when I want to put them back into the storage unit, because I need them to A, make sense, and B, close, and currently they don't. So I'll deal with those boxes. We're also putting our TV up on the wall today. It was originally on the wall, and then we took it down because we rearranged the living room, and it's just been sitting on top of the console table, which is fine, and it's like a fine height and everything, but we really want to have more space there, more visual space, and it just looks better fully up on the wall. So Nick is doing a lot of the prep work for that right now, and I'll go help him in a little bit whenever he asks for it. Yeah. So we're gonna do that, and then I also today wanted to talk about things that I'm really proud of or that I accomplished in this past year, because I know in my 5 Ways to Stay Motivated video I talked about writing down things that you have done towards your goals and everything, and it's my birthday, and when you're seeing this it will be my birthday, and it can be, especially when you have a birthday in December, it can be very easy to completely forget everything that has actually happened in the past year and how much you've actually done. And so I wanted to share mine with you. So we'll get into that a little bit later. First, we gotta take care of some housekeeping stuff, as always. So let's go do that. Specifically, we're addressing the Autumn box. As you can see, it's a little unwieldy at this point. And you might be thinking, why don't you have a real, bin for these things? You have all those Christmas bins. Well, you see, we just haven't got one. We're currently still using a moving box that we got 3 years ago. reduce, reuse, recycle, baby. But you know, that is something we hope to get in the next couple of years. And in the meantime, we're working with what we have. I mentioned earlier that I really wanted to take the time, for you it will be my actual birthday, but for me, birthday tomorrow, but to reflect on everything that I have achieved, that I'm proud of, highlights from this past year, because looking back, it's been a really full year. So let's go through 29 things that set me up for feeling 25. Starting off at the top, 29. I'm doing Vlogmas. If you had told me last year that I would be on 7 videos out of 25 this deep into Vlogmas, that I would have committed to doing it, that I would be making thumbnails, that I'd be filming all the time and editing all the time, I would have said, you know, probably like, I have time for that? What? But the thing is I've learned to make time for the things I love. And so I'm so happy to be here with you doing Vlogmas. And a big part of the reason that I'm doing Vlogmas at all is because I built up a lot of confidence while making TikToks over on my TikTok. I got really confident in video editing and finding memes, finding what I liked, what I didn't like, how I like to do things. And so now I make TikToks regularly, which is also a wild thing to think about. 27, some might find a little bit boring, I guess, but I set a step goal for myself this past year, or at some point in the past year, about walking at least 5,000 steps a day. Like I want to say somewhere around walking 5,000 steps a day. And I've been really, really consistent. And I do not always hit 5,000 steps. Like I have days, even where we at today, I'm definitely not gonna hit 5,000 steps. I really needed to rest today, like I mentioned earlier. And that's good and okay. The fact that I set those step goals for myself and I've been progressively meeting them, because that's the thing, is I started with 1,500, then 2,500, then I was at 2,500 for quite a while, and then I was at 4,000 because I didn't want to commit to 5,000, and now I'm at 5,000. And when we were traveling, I was walking an average of 15 to 18,000 steps a day. It was wild. I was so proud of myself because I would not have gotten there if I hadn't progressively actually kept to those goals and met them, you know? I'm so happy. Now that I am walking more frequently, moving my body more frequently, something I'm really proud of is that number 26, I joined a gym. I haven't been in a gym or like had a gym membership since 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. Gyms aren't for everyone, and that's totally great and fine. One of the reasons I do enjoy gyms, particularly for weightlifting and that kind of thing, is because then I can use machines and maintain my form because of my body needs and issues. Maintaining form is really, really important, and I'm so afraid of doing more damage to my body if I try to do those exercises at home because I'm doing them incorrectly. So doing them at the gym has been wonderful, and I get to use the elliptical, and it also helps me towards my step goals. And it's also just a nice different environment to go to, like right in the middle of the workday, and really switch things up for myself. It's been very good for my brain. Number 25, continuing this kind of body transformation, awareness kind of a thing. I tried a new hairstyle and a new color. You'll notice my bangs are currently side parted, but that's because they're irritating me and they haven't grown out. Like I was telling you earlier, they haven't grown out to a length where I thought they would be, which is more of that face framing layer length. Currently they're still, you know, center parted bangs. I don't hate it, but it is like a shape of my face and a style of my hair that I am not used to, that I don't trust looks good all the time. Not that anyone's hair looks good all the time, you know, clearly, but when it is side parted, I am just more confidently myself. But yeah, I'm really proud that I tried something new. Number 24, I went away on a girls' trip for no other reason than to do so. I really enjoyed my bachelorette trip experience that I got to be a part of, and I went on a couple other amazing trips. This was a long weekend with some very good friends of mine, staying at one of their houses and just getting to get away for a little while. That's something I've always wanted to do. Speaking of friends, number 23, I was a reference for not one, not two, but 3 incredible people this year, and all of them got their jobs, which is so very cool, and I'm so happy for them and proud of them and the lives they're now leading and now able to lead because of their new positions. Number 22, I rescued 2 plants that were going to go to the trash. We were doing a big clean out day at the office, and someone had just shoved in with a bunch of like old Christmas lights and a bunch of other stuff almost under the table, a couple of different plants in planters. Is it 2 plants? 3, technically 4, I guess, if we're, yeah. And they weren't doing too great, but they were still like clearly alive. And I happened to work by a window, so I grabbed them once I realized they were real, because they were also mixed in with a bunch of faux greenery. Once I realized they were real, I grabbed them and got them, like cleaned them out, clipped off the dead foliage, and got them into the window, got them some water, and they have been absolutely thriving. I am so happy, and other people in my office have been bringing in their plants, and we've just kind of been having plant parties where we all water our plants together, which is so cute and fun. And there are like new babies of those plants growing, which is just thrilling. Saved from the trash. Number 21, speaking of saved from the trash, I auditioned for the first time in years. I have a lot of self-esteem issues, and anyone I think who has been in theater or performing arts has probably struggled with that in some capacity or other. And for me, my BFA program, though very good, did completely trample my self-esteem. And it's been really, really difficult for me to audition. And so I'm really proud of myself for going out there, auditioning. It wasn't a good audition. It was not good. And as you can imagine, nothing came of it, but I did it. I had to completely rewrite my resume because at one point I deleted everything. And so I had to go back and dig through emails and be like, what did I even put on there? And like completely rebuild. But I did it. And I'm still so proud of that. And it gives me hope that in 2024 and in the year of being 29, I might have the courage and the self-esteem to do it again. Do it twice maybe. Do it more often. And who knows what could come of that. Number 20. I made a concerted effort to get together with friends who I don't ordinarily get to see. So this past year, some of my college friends and I, who now all live in very different places, started meeting regularly over Zoom to do what we call PowerPoint princess parties. And they're so fun. We try to do one once a month. Don't get to do it all the time because of scheduling. Obviously, we all have lives. Usually we'll spend a few hours on a Thursday or Friday night, and with not any particular theme in mind, we each get to pick our own project or something to present on, and it is so silly and fun, and we're usually all eating dinner, whether it's 6:30 or 9:30, and having a drink of something fun, staying hydrated, and it's just a great way to stay connected. I also went and did Barbenheimer with a really good friend of mine and finally got to meet her partner. I made sure to hang out with friends of mine that I haven't seen in a really long time in person. Went to one friend's birthday, went on a nice long walk with another, which is fantastic. And I think in the year of 29, I definitely want to do that more. Just connecting with my friends and making a more concerted effort to reach out. And number 19, speaking of plants and friends, I got 2 maple trees that are just so wonderful and so cute, and I really hope that I can get them good big pots to continue growing in, as well as all of the soil they will need until we have a garden space that I can physically plant them in. But I'm so excited to see these trees, real trees, they're Japanese maples. I'm so excited to see them grow and change, and they have just dropped all of their leaves for the winter, which is very exciting. It's actually a very healthy sign when your tree is going through the natural cycle of things. I was worried there for a while, but they're doing good. And yeah, I'm excited for the spring and planting season and maybe moving them into pots that will accommodate them growing big and strong. This year, number 18, I really committed to being kind to myself and writing out self-affirmations every single night. And I think I mentioned this the other day in the motivation video, but even when they seemed really rote and even silly, it's been so worth it to be kinder to myself. It's helped my self-esteem so much because I'm the biggest advocate I can have. And as much as I can be my own biggest critic, I can also be my own biggest cheerleader. And remembering that is so important. Number 17, I got really serious about my financial wellness this year. That's definitely something I'm hoping to continue in the year of 29. Setting financial goals for myself and setting up plans to actually meet those goals instead of just being like, wow, wouldn't it be nice to have more than $5 in savings? Really committing to having $10 in savings. These are achievable goals that we're gonna find and have and figure out. But I'm really proud that I even went and sought out financial advice in a way that I never had before. This year, I also bought myself new clothes. And you might be thinking, AC, that's not particularly impressive. People buy themselves new clothes all the time. Yes, and it's so good that they do that. I don't often do that. I very specifically bought myself new swimsuits and new underthings that actually fit, which again has been so helpful for my self-esteem, but also just, is again a kindness to myself that I had been putting off because of my spending anxiety. So I'm really proud. These are pieces that are going to last me, in theory, a really long time. And I am less scared about buying things for myself, just in general, overall. So I have new shoes, I have some new jeans. Oh, also, when I say new, it doesn't necessarily mean new. I do most of my shopping at like Goodwill and thrift stores, and occasionally online. But yeah, I bought myself new clothes and I'm really, really proud of that. Number 15, I had a sit down, I think actually about this time last year, not long after my birthday, so I'm counting it, where I rearranged a bunch of the spaces in our home I use Microsoft Publisher because I don't pay for Microsoft Visio and I don't have any like fancy software. That publishers work just fine for me since high school, so I use Publisher. But I sat down and the way our patio was laid out was just not functional. It was not welcoming. And we have an apartment that is very much visible to the street. And so it really bothered me that our space seemed uninviting. And again, we host a lot. So I wanted to be sure that people would know it was our space, people could be inspired by our space, and people could feel comfortable, and we could actually do some entertaining outside. And so I put together a plan. I roped in Nicholas for an afternoon to help me move everything, and we completely revamped that space, and we put in cute it's the lights we have right now, the little market lights we have are solar powered, and we need different ones. We want the ones that you can plug in because our solar powered ones are not particularly bright, but we did it, and I'm really, really proud of us for committing to doing that and not just talking about it or dreaming about it. Number 14. I started getting my nails done again as a form of self-care. I used to do this a lot pre-pandemic. It was a really solid way to regularly invest in myself, and obviously stopped during the pandemic. And then, you know, I started up again because we were trying to hide from my best friend that she was going to get engaged. So we just started all regularly getting our nails done together so that she wouldn't know when it would be the time. But then after she got engaged, that fell off. We weren't doing that anymore because the jig was up, and stopped doing it. And I also couldn't really afford it for a long time. But before we went to Turkey, and you can see this video on my TikTok as well, I got my nails done for the first time because I was like, you know, I'm going on this big, very special vacation, first vacation in a long, long time, longest vacation in a long, long time to a brand new place. I really want to have cute nails for all of these photos and all the filming that we're going to do. Like, I want to have cute nails. So I did that, and since I've been back, I've been getting my nails done again once a month, and I'll actually be getting them done again, I think this weekend. And I'm really excited for that. I'm thinking, so these are currently like a nice burgundy color, but you can see they're kind of growing out. Don't worry about that. They're such a nice burgundy color, but I'm thinking either a forest green, or my other inspo is like Sugar Plum Fairy, so maybe like a really fun dark purple, not a burgundy, not a red purple, but like a deep plum almost, you know? Anyway, I'm really proud of myself for going back and doing that because I want to. Can you tell I have issues with denying myself joy? Anyway, we're growing. This is what we're doing. Number 13. I built out my department's onboarding procedures, and then this one and the next few are very like work related, and when I was thinking about it, it felt a little like performance evaluation-y, you know, like annual performance conversation-esque, but I am really proud of that. We went from having nothing to actually having procedures written out and trainings people should have, the things that need to be done before somebody starts. You know, it's nice to have it all written down, and I know a lot of companies, especially post-pandemic, have been recovering, and a lot of that information was lost, so it felt really good to have that all built out again. One of my favorite things to do at work is be on the Joy Committee, and I successfully planned and executed 2 morale events this year. One was Pi Day, P-I, Pi Day. Back in March, I hosted a pie contest with different categories and funny little award signs for people to win, and that was so much fun. And then of course I did our Halloween party as well, or one of 3 Halloween parties that we had on site that year anyway, and that was really fun, and I'm really proud of myself for going above and beyond and making sure everyone at the org had a chance to take a break and have some fun. Number 11, this is also a work thing, but I completely revamped, and have been driving a program at my work for the last couple years, and it has grown so much, and it's going really well. I'm so happy and excited to see where it goes next in the coming year and years. I think it's such a cool program, and I'm really, really proud of the work I did on it. We had great retention rates, and it's grown a lot even in the last couple of months, which is so exciting. Number 10, last thing from the theater, I joined my theater's, we call it the Literary Reading Group. And this is a group of folks, both in-house and who have relation to my specific theater, but who are now elsewhere, either nationally or locally in the theater community. And we all read plays as assigned to us. It's kind of like a play book club, where a couple of us are assigned to a play every couple weeks, and then we all get together and we give feedback, like, do we like this playwright? Is this play good? Would we recommend this for any one of the theaters or programs that we run at our theater? Or is this more suited towards a different audience or a different location? Or is this a playwright that this isn't a work that we're interested in pursuing further, but we do want to keep an eye on this playwright, that kind of thing. And it is the best meeting to be a part of. It is absolutely soul fulfilling and brings me back to my roots, and everyone is just so fun and funny in that meeting. And I would not have done it if our literary manager hadn't put out a call saying, hey, is this something that is of interest to anyone? And I said, me. He said, great. And I've been invited back for every meeting since, and have made some wonderful new friends because of it. Okay. Number 9, like a fine wine. We rearranged our living room and our main living area. As you've seen, we have different zones. We have like the main living space, we have the desk area, we have our dining area, we have the kitchen. You know, there's a lot going on in this space. And before, see if I can include photos of what it looked like before. Before, we had the dining table pressed up against the bar. This couch was against the back wall, and like over here, the framed print that you've seen above my big wingback chair is actually covering the holes where the TV used to be. Like, it looked very different, and it was fine and it was lovely, but it wasn't super functional. And I was like, this space has got to be able to serve us better. And it is so big. Why doesn't it feel big? So I talked to publisher, I zhuzhed things around, and I came up with this idea. Nick approved it, and we got to move and stuff. We had to have my younger brother come over and help us move some things because I couldn't lift certain very heavy pieces of furniture. But now we have distinct zones for different parts of our life, and it has been immensely helpful. Because before, you couldn't work or eat and watch something or have people walking through the space at all without getting in the way of whatever you were viewing or gaming. And now we have a path of travel behind the couch. You can have, dinner over there or lunch, whatever. You can have a meal over there and not be like pressed up against the kitchen, which is great. And it just feels more open in here. The space feels like it's as big as it was always supposed to be, which is awesome. And we got it all done just in time for our family to come up from the south and visit. We had my niece and nephew come over, and we got to do number 8. I introduced them to the concept of tide pooling. Now, I grew up out here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm sure this happens in other parts of the world too, where there's coastline of any kind, specifically ocean or very large body of water coastline that is not a lake or a river, where the waters are controlled by the moon. If you're in any of those places, you might know about tide pooling, which is when the water, as it ebbs and flows, leaves behind small pools in the sand where there are lots of small creatures. And niece and nephew are from a very landlocked part of the south, and so I took them up to one of our beaches to go tide pooling. They had no idea what I was talking about, didn't really understand it, but they were blown away by the crabs, by the sea anemones, which they had only ever previously seen in Finding Nemo. So seeing those live, seeing starfish, seeing an octopus, which was very cool, and getting to hear about all of these things from an aquarium field researcher. One of the things that Seattle Aquarium does that is really cool is in the summertime they will have field researchers on different beaches around Western Washington, I think mostly just here in King County, but they are available to talk to and to discuss what's going on in these tide pools and in these ecosystems. So we learned also about moon snail shells, which are very cool. Highly recommend looking them up. It's such an amazing time. I'm so glad I dragged them out to go do something they didn't know existed and didn't know what to expect about. So I'm also proud of them for bringing their sense of adventure and wonder to that experience. Number 7, speaking of bringing a sense of wonder and a sense of adventure to a new experience where you don't know what to expect, my partner and I went to Arizona this year for spring training. We are big Mariners fans, and we had such a fantastic time going with friends. We stayed at an Airbnb just outside of Peoria, where the Mariners play in the Cactus League, and we got to see an LA Dodgers game, and we got to see a Mariners game, and just have a really wonderful time. We also did an escape room and ate a lot of delicious food, and I had never been in Arizona before, so it was very cool to be in a new airport and to be in a new place with different people. Number 6. I started medicinal therapy for my ADHD. I got diagnosed last year, last November, I want to say, and I didn't need medication for quite some time, and then at some point in the past year, I can't quite remember when, with my doctors, we decided that it was a good time to try medicinal therapy or pharmaceutical therapy, that is, being on a regular schedule of drugs. This was also during a period of time, and I actually don't know if it's still going on, where a lot of medicine geared towards people with ADHD were very much off the market. Not off the market, but like back ordered. There was a shortage. And again, I don't know if that's still going on. And if it is, I am so sorry. Fortunately for me, the medication that I was assigned to try and has been working very, very well is not one of those that was affected by the shortages and the backlog of orders. So I'm really proud that I committed to trying something different for my particular brand of neurospicy, and I'm really, really pleased with the results that I've been seeing. Number 5. This is related to the step count and the gym, but more specifically, I very much committed to moving my body in some form or fashion every single day. So even if I didn't meet my step goal, if I stretched or did yoga or, you know, cleaned out my closet or something like that, great. I moved my body that day. If I went dancing, if I don't know, went shopping and I lifted a whole bunch of things up and down, looking at clothes, carrying clothes, trying on clothes, just committing to moving in some way, form, or fashion every single day. I did a lot of Vlogmas videos. I might be starting up with those again. I really enjoy Casey's attitude and lifestyle. I, of course, love Yoga with Adrienne as well. And just having those tools available and just having the goal, if it even really was a goal, was just moving my body. When that was the bar, when the bar was that low, and when it is that low, it means that even on the days when I have the most frustrating mental health or physical capability, if I do something of some kind, then it counts. It's a win. It's like when I talk about 1 is greater than 0, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So today, I'm definitely not making my step goal at all, but we moved the TV around, I put a bunch of stuff away, and I did try taking the cat on a walk. I did move my body today. So I think I've succeeded. Number 4, I directed live for the first time. I had done some direction over Zoom. I've been the devising assistant on certain things. I've obviously been in production and arts management, and of course on stage as an actor and performer, but I hadn't had the chance to direct other actors live on stage, and I got to do that this year for the very first time, and I am immensely proud of myself for going out on a limb and submitting at the recommendation of a friend of mine, actually, to get to do that. So thank you, Leah, for recommending that I do that, and I'm so proud of you for getting that done. Number 3, if you have ever planned a bachelorette party, much less a bachelorette weekend, much less a bachelorette weekend in a completely different state, in a city you've maybe been to maybe once, you know how wild of an experience that is. And let me tell you, I am so proud of my best friend and I for planning an incredible bachelorette weekend in San Diego for our other best friend. And it set us up for number 2, which was getting to be in the bridal party for that best friend's wedding, getting to stand up with her on that very special day was such an honor. And she and her husband are both people I've known since we were very, very small. We grew up in the same small parish church community. But we all grew up together, the 3 of us best friends, and the love of her life, who was just so marvelous and the perfect match for her. And their wedding was so beautiful and so much fun to be a part of. We danced the night away, and I am so immensely grateful to have been a part of that. And number 1, Susie, I got to travel to the other side of the world with the love of my life. That's something I have dreamed about since I was a very little girl. Not just traveling. Obviously, I've always wanted to travel. I've always loved traveling. But getting to do so with a romantic partner, with someone who I so adore and trust, and who also experiences the world with a sense of wonder like I do, really just added so much zest to that experience and so much steady calm when things were absolutely nuts. If you're curious about that, then you can check it out over on my TikTok. I did what we called Turkey Week right around Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving anyway, and it ended up being 2 weeks of vlogs about our time in Turkey. So if you're interested, you can go check that out. Thanks so much for joining me for another day of Vlogmas. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I will see you tomorrow for, oh my gosh, Vlogmas Day 8. I can't believe we're already at a whole week of Vlogmas already. Oh, that's so wild. I'm so happy and grateful for you sticking with it. If you're still watching this video, hopefully you like what you see and you want to subscribe. You want to come back for more. So go ahead, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and comment down below. What's one thing you're really proud of yourself for accomplishing this year? Or a highlight from your year if you're having trouble thinking of something that you're specifically proud of accomplishing. I know that can be difficult. So something you're proud of, or a highlight from this past year. I want to hear what yours are. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.